Just take a closer look what I've got going on with this harp. Now, I've kind of put bending new harps on hold this week so that I could mess around with this harp and clean it up and make it work better. I put it in a vise and I moved the arms back, and even though my reed was in there uneven, I was able to even up the arms with it, and I found that to be true to a certain extent. Just so long as the harp isn't too far off, you can tweak the arms around and line them up well with the reed. And if you're noticing that it's a different color, it's because I put 2 coats of anti-rust finish on it. I treat it just like a cast iron skillet, and I like the color it's turning it. It makes it look like it's almost old, and that'll help hopefully keep rust from forming on it. And also, I refined the shape of my trigger. Before, my trigger was out at an angle. Instead of being up like this, it was out at an angle like that, and it didn't play very well. The sound was very, very low on it, and I heated it back up, moved the trigger inward and then back outward, and now it plays much better, and it makes better sound as well. So evening up the embouchure and reed, getting those gaps as even as I possibly could, and they're pretty tight. I'm pretty proud of this because this is pretty tight for me being a beginner, being 2 weeks in, and my trigger's a little bit more refined. I know what I'm going to do on the next harp. I'm going to make sure this bend doesn't stick out very far past the end of my arms, as that sometimes hits my lips, the edge of my lips, the corner of my mouth. But other than that, for first working harp that I built, I was able to fix my mistakes. I figure that if I'm able to fix my mistakes on a harp that's imperfect, once I get them down to where I'm bending them perfect, things will go much smoother, because I know that if I make a mistake, if it's a minor mistake, it's at least fixable. I have the knowledge to fix it instead of just wasting material and throwing something away. So it's been what I've been doing. Let's change camera angles and get a listen on this. So here's the harp that I've been messing around on, that I've evened up, and I've noticed that these small changes that I made, evening the arms up, getting the gaps as even as I possibly could, and cleaning up the trigger a little bit, have impacted the sound quite a bit by taking my trigger from out at an angle like this and moving it in and recurving it a bit. It took away some of that extra leverage the trigger had. With the trigger clear out here, all that extra leverage caused the reed to vibrate slower, and the tone on this was pretty low. Let's give a listen and see what the minor change in my trigger did to it. Big difference in the sound. Cleaning up the trigger, evening up my embouchures and reed. That stuff, it makes a big difference. So just on this harp here, my first harp, I've learned quite a bit on how to fix mistakes, on kind of the direction to look in, and nobody's been showing me how to do this, but I have been getting some advice. There is a guy with a channel out there called Vibe Forge. That's Vibe Forge on YouTube. He has been a wealth of information. He actually knows so much about harps and harp making that when he gives me advice, there's so much information there, it's a lot for me to take in. So thank you to Vibe Forge for all the wonderful information on harps. And I've got a long way to go before I start making fine harps, but I believe that this one is a step in the right direction. And I know that in the future, if I make mistakes and things get a tad askew, that I can fix those mistakes. Now, if it does happen that you make a mistake and a harp's too uneven, I almost can't fix them like this one. I played around with it for quite a while and tried to even it up, and it's just too off center. Things just weren't bent straight enough. But on a harp that's a little off, now at least I know that I can fix it. And here up and coming, I'm going to be including some footage of my attempts at harp making. But that's going to be it for making a jaw harp. Like, share, subscribe for more harpery. Harp out.